Sorry, I was trying to do a cool pose for the camera because I've lost like 15 pounds, so I'm just checking to make sure like I look a little bit better. I think I look a little bit better. I think, but there's one thing I must do first is decrease the brightness on my laptop. So the doesn't show in my glasses, and there we go. That is much better. Okay, so it has been 3 months, and ever since I had a fun night with a certain teddy bear, I felt more alive. I felt like my life is really coming together in a lot of ways, and I feel that this is a new chapter in my life. To be honest with you, I think the universe has really gifted me with a great privilege, and although I have many, many issues with the universe, as of right now, I can confidently say that I do have some respect for it. I have a job now. I have so many things that I didn't have before. Well, and the relationship with the teddy bear, so that's 2 things, but a lot of things have gone well. And losing weight, of course. 15 pounds down, I've been taking Wegovy, which is a weight loss medication, which I believe may be trying to change the chemicals in my brain a little bit. I'm not sure, but clearly I'm articulate enough, and honestly right now I can't really afford to be paranoid. I must take a step back, take a breath, take a breather, throw those water bottles away that have been sitting there for 10 days, and just really acknowledge that the universe has done a lot of good things for me, and maybe I should trust it. Now, what I want to talk about today is the concept of watches. When you put on this watch, I'm not going to put it on because it takes too much effort to put it on, and I don't like that. So, but when you put a watch on, it says time, and every time you see a watch, you are reminded that a minute of your life has passed, a second of your life has passed at the very least, and you are one step closer to dying. So what I'm focused on specifically is not just watches, but the afterlife, and what watches mean for the afterlife. So I want to say that without watches, without measurements of time, a lot of things in our society would not work very well, and I do acknowledge that, but I also believe that the constant threat of death is harboring ill will towards society and life in general, because when somebody thinks, oh, I'm wasting my life, I'm going to die one day and I'm wasting my life, that harbors a lot of negative energy. Okay, so I think that watches have more good than bad in them, but I do believe that watches can be very dangerous. So let's dissect this a little bit more. It says the time, what else? Well, it has a battery in it. Alright, now I'm trying to be a little bit more composed here. I'm trying to not let, the voices in my head get to me, the government get to me. There's a lot of things that are trying to get to me, especially the water bottles that I haven't thrown away yet. But gotta take a step back and just analyze this with zero bias. So, as you can see, the back of the watch is where the battery is. Now, I don't like batteries, I don't like electricity, but it's not a situation where I am similar to Chuck McGill from the television show Better Call Saul. It is more so that I acknowledge that I must use electricity in my life to live normally, to make these videos, but there are aspects of electricity that I do feel where the government is able to monitor us without our consent. Besides that, I think any clock battery probably has a tracking device inside of it. Okay, so if you're trying to run away from the cops, which I've had to a few times, I shouldn't admit that on camera though, but I shouldn't be making videos at all if I'm running away from the cops. That's the first thing. But, okay, anyways. You shouldn't wear watches, but that means, you don't know what time it is. So, it is all... Pick the lesser of two evils. Do you want technology? Do you want to know what time it is? Or do you want to be monitored for your entire life? It really bothers me that it is this way. I wish things could be more balanced, but that's not just how they are. Besides that aspect, the clock battery is really, I think, a metaphor for our brains. The clock battery runs out, and our brains eventually run out. We become old, we become demented, we start listening to Fox News. Our brains start dying, and then we die fully. The battery dies, we die. So, what I said earlier about watches being connected to dying in the afterlife, I really mean that, because since time is such an important human invention, it is inevitably going to be tied to our mortality. Which leads me to my ultimate point. Time cannot exist without death. Death is the reason why time exists, because if you didn't have the threat of death looming over you, if you didn't have the threat of a heart attack or cancer or getting run over by a car or getting eaten by a bear or getting murdered by somebody like me, then time would not be necessary. So I want to take a step back and just kind of relax a little bit, and I want to stop talking about time altogether, and I want to talk about the people I've murdered. So, it was this 13, 14-year-old pothead. He was hanging out in the alley, and I told him, I have some good stuff. You should come with me. Let's make a deal. He came into a back alley with me. I stabbed him in the heart repeatedly. And, I should not upload this video. This is very confidential information. But, I trust my YouTube audience to not rat me out. I hope you can understand that the reason I kill is not for self-pleasure, but it is because it is an obligation I have. To end lives is just as important as to give lives. There is no real moral difference between a woman giving birth and a man killing somebody and stabbing them in the heart. It is all the same because it all contributes to the cycle of life or death. Getting back to watches now, I really like the intricate design of it. I like how it's black. I don't like some black things, but I think black is the best color for a lot of pieces of technology to have. This laptop is black. This Xbox is black. This PS2 is black. I'm not black, thankfully, but I didn't mean like that though. Okay. Anyways, so what I want people to take away from this video is that I'm trying to be a better person, and I'm trying to help you understand life, death, and if I murder you one day too, at least you'll understand why, because it's all connected. The watches, they sing songs when you listen closely, songs about life, death, mortality. And what I realized is that it doesn't truly matter if you live or die. You are contributing to the system either way. Both things must happen, so there's nothing wrong with both things happening. But sometimes sometimes I'm up at night and I think I wish I didn't have the responsibility to end these lives. It's very impactful on my heart, on my soul. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it, but it also doesn't mean I don't regret it later on. But I have to keep doing it. What else can I do? The universe has chosen me for a specific purpose in my life, and I must follow it. Even if I don't always like it, even if I distrust the universe's system, it is the best option for me. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best option for you. You can live an innocent life. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I almost encourage you to do so. I wish I could.